From Richmond County. My name is Deborah David. I'm from Richmond County, North Carolina. I'm the organizer for Concerned Citizens of Richmond County. Enough is enough for a community fighting for their health.
That's right. Enough is enough.
People are sick there. They have asthma, headaches, nosebleeds. For a lot of them, the doctor don't even know what's wrong with them. We would like for Mr. Biden to shut down the biomass industry. If not, at least stop subsidizing them. Put stricter regulations on the pollution limits. Install air monitors in the community that we can monitor emission ourselves instead of relying on the bad actors and do the polluting and only tell us about air quality warnings after the fact. Do the right thing, Mr. Biden. That's one thing we ask.
people end up looking like a turkey.
The polluters, the big companies, the commissioners who are hungry for money, they will continue to put their pollution, because things have pollution, in vulnerable areas where people don't have the money to fight against them. They've been disenfranchised over the years, so they place it in African American communities. They've been doing it for years in poor communities. So the environmental justice laws have to come into place to protect those individuals, to protect those families and homes and land.
Bingo! Fight up! Bingo! Fight up! Bingo! Fight up! Bingo! Whenever there is an increased threat to members of environmental justice communities, which are described as low-income communities, people of color communities, communities that are overburdened environmentally with toxins and pollutants, tribal areas or vulnerable communities, that there should be an environmental justice analysis, which includes a health impact study, economic impact study done.
I have COPD and lung disease now. I've actually had 3 mini strokes. Sometimes I have to actually be hooked up to a breathing machine, and I have the inhalers. And sometimes when I'm out here, my eyes like a burn and turn blood red. So just my experience of me living here. And people might say, well, first thing they say, well, you have to prove it. But these are things that wasn't happening to me before.
This little town here of 46,000 people, most of them I know that ain't my family. And then all of them could be my family. I don't know. I'm concerned about more of my health because I keep having issues coming up and other people having issues. And then every time I look around, you got a kid a year old, you got older people using these asthma pumps. And this asthma, it's got to be coming from some kind of pollution.
I just don't like the whole idea of big business as usual coming in and polluting a community. You could have, that's real serious to me because people could actually get sick and start dying from this.
Our community is already dealing with a lot of problems, and Enviva is only going to make it worse.
I'm concerned about the Enviva wood pellet facility because of documented evidence of what these wood pellet facilities do to the air quality. They increase the amount of particulate matter, which can get into the lungs and into the bloodstream, carried around the body, and have all different kinds of health impacts, from obesity and diabetes, neurological impacts, cardiovascular impacts, even fertility impacts.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
See, a lot of people in the community feel the same way, but they're afraid to speak up because in the past, a lot of the reaction and the continued suppression, where you feel like you have no power, but there are people there in the community says enough is enough. And there are some citizens, especially those who are involved with concerned citizens in Richmond County, who are directly affected, where the plant is only a mile away from them. They heard nothing about it beforehand until Dogwood Alliance actually alerted us. And so when we looked at the facts, when we looked at this is going to be even more dumping on a community than what we already have. We're already dealing with enough already. So that's the reason why they got up and say, hey, we have to fight this for our children. We have to fight this for the future. We have to fight this to save for our health.
I am just absolutely honored to be here because this is the movement of a generation that is afoot right now in our country. It takes so much courage for people to stand up. It takes so much courage for the community to go against the grain, to challenge those in power, to challenge those with the money. But you're not alone.
It's about time somebody just stood up and did something and made these companies aware of the fact they just can't do what they want to do and that we do matter. And as you probably kind of know, we've been turned down by the commissioners in Richmond County to even allow us to even speak on what's going on around here.
I encourage communities to get involved, and it may just start with you. It may just start with one person. And I've just seen that's all it takes. Just one person getting started. One person said, okay, going to commissioners meeting. One person placing in the newspaper saying, I would like to have a meeting to organize on a particular issue. And then you start a movement right there in your local community.
Saturday, March 17th, 2018. I was just on here a few minutes ago, and I decided I'd run some water into the sink just to see, because I cleaned my sink tonight. You can tell that I did a good cleaning of my sink tonight, but I got to looking, and there's stuff floating around in this water. I don't know whether you can tell it or not, but this is what we take a shower in. And this is what we cook with. I don't know what's going on, but you can see the buildup from what's in the water along the side. There's some looks like spit right there, and I'll be glad. Let's start this over just so everybody knows I didn't do that. Okay, let's see here. Let's rinse the sink out as much as we can. All right. We're going to fill it back up. You see the sink is completely clean. All right. Now let's fill this up. Okay. Now we're going to let it sit there a second. And get it cold. Ooh, look at the cold. Okay. Now, there's like a milky substance. It's terrible. This is really disheartening that they would expect people here in Cordova to live off of this water. I got a $63 water bill this month with 2 people in my home. We wash 2 loads of clothes a week, a dark load and a white load. we wash dishes every night, but only two people that there's not a lot of dishes. We shower every day, both of us, but our water should never be $63 a month. We don't use any water for outside the gardening or nothing. But I'm waiting for that buildup to float up. So it's just going to be a second. It's pretty much, let me see if I can stir it, if it'll do anything. Yeah, you can see stuff floating around in it. You can see stuff floating around in it. Or I can, I don't know. I hope that you can. Let's see, I don't know if that's going to help any or not. Richmond County. We pay a Richmond County water bill, so we're in Richmond County. And the story goes is that, from what I understand, when Cordova was first established, I think Cordova was on city water, so therefore they installed the pipes, that brought the water here, and I guess the water anyway, the sewage pipes, all that kind of stuff. And from what I understand, since then, Richmond County has taken over the because we're in the county now, we're considered Richmond County, and we're out of city limits. We're considered, part of the county, not in the city limits. So now we pay our bill to the Richmond County Water Department. And well, like I said earlier, I think there's some discussion on who's responsible for replacing the pipes. And well, like I said, I have been definitely sick. Last year, I was in the bed for 3 months. My family, my neighbors, everybody knows the situation. And I'm just hoping and praying that this is not attributed to it. But if it is, there will come a day, that Richmond County will hear from me. But they're going to hear from me anyway on this, because I'm going to post this. I'm going to post it to YouTube. I'm going to get this out there to see if anybody realizes or even cares what we're going through here. And this isn't the first time. This has been going on for years and years and years. It just so happens that I have a cell phone now, and I just started using, look at there and say, I just started a start or whatever. I don't know what it is. But just so happens that I just started using my camera a lot, and my video camera, because I can operate it. And before, I didn't really know a whole lot about it. But anyway, I hope that you have enjoyed. Let's see if we've got any clean water. Looks like it might be clearing up. Looks like it might be clearing up. But we'll see. Let's see if this is clearing up. No. And even if it does clear up, just think about, they put all of these water cleansers and chlorine or chloride, I don't know, fluoride, whatever they put in it or whatever to clean the water, to make the water clear. And even though it's clear, don't you think about what you can't see. They're getting by with the minimum that they have to do, the very minimum. And as far as that part goes, when the water is clear. So with that being said, I hope to hear some comments. And if anybody
Mr. Sean Ingram from Rockingham in Richmond County. He's a farmer and co-founder of Richmond County Coalition for Justice and Black Empowerment.
Thank you for that. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'll be quick, brief, impactful. I stand here today as a son of this soil. I stand here as a descendant of indigenous Black people who have lived on this land, worshiped on this land, buried our loved ones in this land, and fed our families from the land for generations. We are farmers. We are land people, Black people who have lived on this land, worked this land, worshiped on this land, and buried our loved ones on this land. We come from people who knew how to survive from the ground beneath their feet. Long before corporations came here with promises, our ancestors were here with plows, mules, gardens, tobacco fields, churches, schools, cemeteries, and communities. Our family history and community records show that our people were here before 1769. Our ancestors helped establish the Dockery Meeting House, which is what is now called Rockingham.
This community was in a worse shape, and you see it now. It wasn't a paved street over here. This time of year, but now what's happened now is going back, not to that stage, but it's way back.
Mr. Sean Ingram from Rockingham in Richmond County. He's a farmer and co-founder of Richmond County Coalition for Justice and Black Empowerment.
Thank you for that. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'll be quick, brief, impactful. I stand here today.
And so right now, the misunderstanding of our community is that we already have these issues, right? We already have contaminated water. Folks cannot even drink their water. They're paying a utility bill when they can't.
This community was in a worse shape, and you see it now. It wasn't a paved street over here. This time of year, but now what's happened now is going back, not to that stage, but it's way back. It needs it again. Yeah. And I don't plan to run for city.
Mr. Sean Ingram from Rockingham in Richmond County. He's a farmer and co-founder of Richmond County Coalition for Justice and Black Empowerment.
Thank you for that. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'll be quick, brief, impactful. I stand here today as a son of this soil. I stand here as a descendant of indigenous Black people who have lived on this land, worshiped on this land, buried our loved ones in this land, and fed our families from the land for generations. We are farmers. We are land people, Black people who have lived on this land, worked this land, worshiped on this land, and buried our loved ones on this land. We come from people who knew how to survive from the ground beneath their feet. Long before corporations came here with promises, our ancestors were here with plows, mules, gardens, tobacco fields, churches, schools, cemeteries, and communities. Our family history and community records show that our people were here before 1769. Our ancestors helped establish the Doc Reed Meeting House, which is what is now called Rockingham, North Carolina. This means our roots in Richmond County go back before the founding of the United States itself. So when we speak today, we're not asking for permission to belong here. We are already belong here. But for generations, Black and Indigenous people have been pulled off land through fraud, tax pressure, heirs property, manipulation, partition sales, intimidation, lack of legal protection, and other coercive attacks. Land that our ancestors fought to keep was taken by piece, acre by acre, and generation by generation. And how, after all that land lost, after all the environmental racism, after all the pollution, the poisoned water, the old pipes, the dry wells, industrial dumping, and broken promises, Richmond County is being told that we need an Amazon data center. Let me be clear, we do not need a data center in Richmond County. We did not ask for one. Our communities did not ask for one. Our water to be placed at greater risk did not ask for hundreds of acres of land to be transformed for corporate profit. We did not ask for money, diesel generators, more energy demands, more pressure on our infrastructure, and more decisions made behind closed doors. My brother, William Ingram, said it plainly in his interview, if nobody's going to fight for our land and air and our water, it has to be us. And that is why we are here. Because this is not just about one project, this is about our survival, this is about whether the original inhabitants of this land will continue to be ignored while outsiders decide what happens to our future. This is about whether our children inherit clean water or corporate waste. This is about whether our elders will be respected or sacrificed. This is about whether our history will be honored or erased. We are not against jobs, we are not against opportunity, but we reject the idea that economic development must come at the expense of Black, Indigenous, working class, and farming communities. Most of all, we deserve the right to say no. No to environmental racism, no to corporate land grabs, no to development without consent, and no to sacrificing our water, our farms, our cemeteries, our communities, and our future. We have been demanding justice for generations. We are still demanding justice today. Thank you.
All right.
Next is Miss Bobby Henderson.